Greetings, and welcome to Earthling Cinema. I am your host, Garrix Wormuloid. This week's artifact is Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, starring sexy Labrador Retriever Chris Pratt, and directed by certified Earthling Cinema superfan James Gunn. We open on an unsolicited music video for Electric Light Orchestra's Mr. Bluesky, but shortly thereafter, the movie begins. The Space Avengers are at it again, only this time they're on autopilot because they're rolling in that squeakquel money. Rocket steals a bunch of car batteries from a nearby Midas store, so the Midas employees launch a full-scale attack with their drone army. Fortunately, a giant hard-boiled egg comes along and saves our heroes without even cracking a shell. The captain of the egg introduces himself as Ego, Peter Quill's long-lost father, and a healthy part of a balanced breakfast. He invites everyone back to his home planet for some extra syrup, but just the humanoid characters. The freaks have to stay behind in case someone shows up to kidnap them. Which thankfully someone does. It's Yondu, a minor bad guy from the first one, here to confuse everybody by snagging the primary emotional arc of the second one. He captures Rocket, but almost immediately his crew mutinies for fear of getting their trash cans knocked over. What the crew doesn't account for is Baby Groot coming to the rescue with vaudevillian slapstick. Meanwhile, Ego reveals that he and his home planet are actually one and the same, and that he's some kind of godlike celestial being. A super Ego, if you will. He explains that he took his Kurt Russell form in order to travel the universe and find meaning in his life, i.e. get laid. He does not explain why a being who has been around for millennia and projects his own appearance would bother to age himself up after only 30 years. In any case, Ego shows Peter that he has celestial powers too.
Yes! Whoa!
Such as the power to have a catch and the power to overanalyze Earth media.
One of Earth's greatest musical compositions. Perhaps its very greatest.
Yeah, yes.
As if anyone had any interest in that. Unfortunately, Ego then lets slip that he planted seeds on thousands of planets in order to take them over. But one Celestial isn't enough to activate them. He needs 2 Celestials. Why not just do it himself and only activate half the planets, you ask? Shut up. Peter starts going through his rebellious phase and stands up to his mean old dad. Soon, all the other Space Avengers join in on the fun, and Rocket makes a bomb using those batteries from the beginning. Full circle, baby. They burn Ego to a crisp, and Yondu sacrifices himself to prove some point or another. Then there's just enough time for the movie to set the Guinness Beer record for most post-credit scenes. Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 is an ode to daddy issues in all their various forms, especially the form that leads to lower back tattoos.
Of course I have issues! That's my freaking father!
Per Dr. Sigmund Freud, the heavyweight champion of psychoanalysis, the childhood need for a father's protection plays a crucial role in shaping the human psyche, even if the shape of that psyche ends up being a primitive, amorphous blob. Peter has spent his whole life yearning for the father who abandoned him with nothing more than an ab roller and a tub of protein powder. Gamora and Nebula's father, Thanos, forced them to fight each other, destroying the family bond as well as Nebula's skin-to-metal ratio.
Every time my sister prevailed, my father would replace a piece of me with machinery.
Rocket never even had any parents to begin with, which could be why he never learned to shave.
I know them scientists what made you never gave a rat's ass about you.
I'm serious, dude!
Just like my own damn parents who sold me, the old little baby, into slavery.
The characters attempt to overcome their respective daddy issues by turning into heliocopter parents of their collective child, Baby Groot.
Groot, get out of the way! You're gonna get hurt!
We're gonna need to have a real discussion about your language.
When we meet Ego, he's draped in long-lost father tropes, from the cliché game of catch to having a beard. But we soon learn that Ego's motivations are less about fatherhood and more about taking over the known universe, which is not how most fathers show their love. Karen's dad. This is a radical inflation of ethicist Henry the Henrinator Sidgwick's concept of ethical egoism, which states that one ought to act only out of self-interest in order to maximize their own pleasure. Ego's self-absorption is so crest complete that all other life pales in comparison.
I told you how all those years ago I had an unceasing impulse to find life. But what I did not tell you was how, when I finally did find it, it was all so disappointing.
Hey, you and me both, pal. The antithesis to Ego's philosophy is altruism,
Well, I didn't realize your motivation was altruism.
a term invented by French philosopher Auguste the Henrenator Comte that suggests man has a moral obligation to live for others. One need look no further than the name Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 to detect this idea, as the word guardian implies a duty to protect others, and Vol. 2 implies a cynical view of the movie-going public. Ego tries to inflate Peter's pride
We've heard tell about the man they call Star-Lord.
and tempt him with weird poetry.
Death will remain a stranger to both of us, as long as the light burns within the planet.
But the Guardians vanquish Ego instead, proving once and for all that altruism triumphs over selfishness. Well, twice and for all, since they pretty much did the same thing at the end of Vol. 1. For Earthling Cinema, I am Groot. I mean, Garrix Wormuloid. Goodbye. If you still have the film analysis fuzzies, check out our friend Lee over at Cinema Wins. He focuses on the great stuff behind movies, covering everything from Scott Pilgrim to Moana to The Dark Knight. Click here to watch his latest video, Everything Great About Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, and click here to visit his channel page. And be sure to subscribe while you're there. See you next time, Earth enthusiasts. Goodbye.